And we are live on Rijooviness TV. Thank you so much for joining us today. Are you thriving or are you just surviving? Are you stressed out, frustrated, irritated, confused, bugged, troubled, irritated with everything going on around you, in the world, in your own environment, maybe even in your own home? Well, stick with us today. We're going to be going through some very powerful strategies and techniques that are going to guide and direct you through the craziness that we happen to be living through right now. And we are here. Thank you so much for joining us again today. We're grateful that you've taken the opportunity to share your time and energy with us. Do get involved. Ask us questions. Send in your suggestions. We are doing this television show for you, so get involved. Help us help you. Today we're going to be going through the stresses and chaos that the world is dealing with in these days, and going through my book, Be You, and using the 10 vital keys that have won multiple awards around the world. We're going to be sharing some tips and tricks to help you through the difficult times that you happen to be going through at the moment. We see it all over the place. Everybody seems to be stressed. Everybody seems to be bugged. Everybody seems to be waiting. What are you doing? How are you feeling? Sue, how are you feeling today?
Well, I have to say, Rich, that earlier today I was a little bit bugged because I'm one of these people that if things don't go my way, then unfortunately I let everyone know around me that, yeah, I'm not in my happy place. So
Not your happy face on.
Not my happy face on today, but, you know, there's a saying that not every day is a good day, but find the good in every day. And I think that's what a lot of people really should do, and certainly is changing your state. So I think today we'd love to share your wisdom and how we can change our state, and obviously that's why you wrote the 10 vital keys, and how it can really help people in their everyday lives to support themselves and not stay in that place for very long, but either get it out or, you know, just realize that not everyone is on the same page as we are. So kindness is everything. That's
Kindness is key.
It is key. But, you know, what can we do to change our state quickly if we find ourselves getting very stressed, very annoyed, very angry, very agitated, all those things that take our vibration down, and we become, you know, in a bad place for ourselves because that's not helpful to us or anyone else around us. So how can we do that? What do we do?
Well, as you know, I always talk about being aware. Awareness. Awareness is how you're feeling. You know, more than trying to figure it out mentally and try to think what's wrong and what's happening and what do I do. Go with your feelings. Your gut always knows. And one thing I always say to my clients when we're coaching or mentoring them through issues is, you already know the answer. And I'll take a leap of faith and say that generally we already know what the issues are. We already know what's bugging us, what's frustrating us. And that's usually what stops us from actually getting in and doing the things that we know we should be doing. Because it doesn't match with us. You might know you should be doing it. You may want to do it in some realm in your brain. But the reality is you don't want to. You know, it's just like addiction. You want to give up something, and you're having a hard time giving up something, or you're having a hard time losing weight, or stopping some other kind of something that you use to help you get through your day. It's because the rest of your day, the rest of your life choices aren't matching who you are. So, blunt honesty, comes down to awareness and blunt honesty with yourself. This is your life. This is your opportunity. You either make a choice to be living the life you love in the body you're living with, or you're going to consistently be dealing with stuff that is bugging you and frustrating you and not taking you to your destination that you want to go to.
So to change our state quickly, what kind of things that can we practically do if we find ourselves in a situation and we just literally need to snap out of it? You know, I was always brought up, my parents used to say, snap out of it. And I think never a true word was spoken when you do find yourself in a situation where you're slipping down that slope of maybe anxiety, depression, negative thinking, behavioural patterns that are not supporting your health and wellness, and certainly not your people are immediately around you. So, immediately, what can we do? I mean, how do we snap out of it? What does that entail?
Well, for me personally, what I notice is who's around me. Because a lot of times it's the people in your environment that are going to be creating some of that negativity or some of that crossover blur that you get, where you're very positive and wanting to achieve something or do something, but at the same time you either can't do it, you don't feel like doing it, you haven't got the energy to do it, you don't want to do it even though you want to do it, and it all becomes very frustrating and confusing. So look at the people who you're spending your time with. Who are you around? And how are they making you feel about the things that you want to be doing? For example, you want to lose weight. Are you hanging around people that are fit and healthy, that are supporting and guiding and encouraging you to be aware of the foods that you're eating and the activities that you're doing and the choices that you're making? Or are you hanging around people that are just going, oh, come on, just have a drink, just have a piece, just have a little. It doesn't matter. You can do that weight loss thing later. If you're not around people who are supporting you to do what it is that you want to do or achieve what it is that you want to achieve, the chances of you doing it are very slim, and it's going to be really, really difficult for you to do it. And this is where the power of a mentor or a coach comes in. This is not about selling things or buying things or spending money for no reason. This is about your life and your choices and who you really want to be and the life you really want to be living. And if you're not getting the support and the guidance and the direction from the people around you, then it's bloody well worth you investing some of your time and your hard-earned money into somebody, which is yourself, and somebody else that matches with you. That one has a proven track record of getting you there, and two has your best interest at heart. You invest in somebody like that that's going to support you, and you are miles ahead of most people. And that's why if we look at the most successful people on the planet, they are all surrounded by mentors and coaches. All of them. You're not going to find a highly successful person, individual, male, female, top end, low end, whatever, that's achieving their goals that are not surrounded by highly effective people that are guiding and supporting them to achieve that. So that is key. Look at your environment and look at who is supporting you. And are they supporting you to get where you want to go? Or are they supporting you to stop and be lazy?
And the thing is that I think with the state that you find yourself in, that often it is a huge array of circumstances that brought you to that point.
It is.
And there has been, over the last year, fundamental changes in the structure of the way that people have worked, their family life and situation. And for some people, they have thrived. It's been really good. And we've had a lot of people on our TV programme that, are testament to that. And it's been the best thing that ever happened. But for those people that are stuck, they're really feeling stuck in their own stuff, and they really need some guidance from the 10 keys that you have created very successfully to help people. Beliefs and choices are definitely one of them. What can you share with people about beliefs and choices?
Well, the key thing is again, be aware if your beliefs and choices are taking you towards your goals or away from them. Every day you get an opportunity to create a new you, a new choice, a new environment, a new opportunity. What are you doing with your time? Are you investing your time and spending your time wisely? Many times people are really, really aware and they're very frugal with how they spend their money. But oftentimes those same people are very unaware and very wasteful on how they spend their time. So time, how are you spending it? And while you're spending your time, are you feeling awesome doing it? And there's the key. You will know if you're doing the right things for you or not by how you feel while you're doing what you're doing.
I agree. And I think for a lot of us that actually journaling, I always share that with my clients that I work with, that journaling throughout the day, and when something comes up, just writing it down, because you can really be truthful and honest with yourself if you see it in black and white. You can decide that actually, okay, I recognise that now, and the awareness, as you say, and then you can simply decide to burn that piece of paper, and enough. And I think that's a very quick remedy. If you're angry with somebody, let's take that, and you have a choice, which is to shout and be very aggressive, which ultimately for all of us does an awful lot of things physically to the body.
Absolutely.
So actually writing it down, you can write it like that. People would text or
write it in an email, write it anywhere, just get it out.
But then, delete it is a really good idea. What happens when we get really stressed? What physical changes happen in our body?
Endless things. Dis-ease in the mind creates disease in the body. So if you're constantly mad and frustrated and disappointed and unfulfilled and frustrated, it's going to create all kinds of things. Cortisol is one of them. And your body just builds up, and that's why people who have a lot of stress also possibly have a lot of weight issues, or they get migraine headaches, or they get all kinds of different issues, maybe problems with the throat, because you're not saying what you want to be saying. You're holding things in. So all of a sudden you're getting tummy aches, and you're finding it hard to breathe, and you're getting heart palpitations, and all these different physical things. You can't concentrate, and you're constantly up and down with your mood swings. You can't sleep well. You're just not doing the things that you want to do. And it comes down to as simple as you're not being the person that you want to be. I mean, how many times are you in a situation where you just want to be happy, you just want to be doing what you're doing, you just want to feel great, but you can't because of the people that are around you, or the situation that you put yourself in, or the pressure that you've put on yourself. So take a step back from that. Be aware of the choices. And again, how you're investing your life, your time. You've only got so much of it. Invest it wisely.
And I know that for a lot of people, and I know this is something that I do, is that you have a system that when you feel yourself getting really stressed, that actually putting in place a system of support that suits you and your constitution and what you're going through is really helpful. So, meditation is a big one for me. Because it's brutally honest when I'm in silence, and really going with the breath as to what is really coming up, and that brutal honesty that you talked about. For other people it might be going for a walk, a change of scene, and actually just walking away from the situation is really important, because actually if you stay in that state and you stay angry or frustrated, then walking away and saying no, or not engaging in the drama, for a lot of people is really hard, because when you are frustrated, you want to get out how you feel, but actually, like you said, physically that doesn't do us any good at all. I know we've got some pictures that of people that have changed their physical state, and you can see it on their face, and it might be that you take this chap here in 5 months, look at the difference in his face, look at the difference in his body. He changed his state purely based on the fact that he wasn't happy, that he was doing stuff that didn't serve him. And, regardless of age, but you can see that he'd really worked on empowering his physical self, his mental self, because he created discipline within his life. And it changed everything, and look how happy he is. So it could just be that sometimes we feel overwhelmed, that there's so far to go from where we are to where we want to be. And as you said, that's where a coach comes in, mentoring. And I think sometimes we underestimate what we can do in a very long time, but we overestimate what we can do in a short time, and we expect ourselves to just go, right, that's it, we just don't want to be in this job anymore, we don't want to be in this relationship anymore, we don't want to be in this body anymore, and then we go, I'm totally overwhelmed, I don't actually know where to start.
Exactly.
And so, you know, having somebody to guide you is really an important thing to do.
It is vital. And like you said, you know, there's many different ways that you can deal with stress and with anxiety or with that kind of pressure in your mind. I know for myself, if I'm into a very stressful situation, to try to sit down and meditate at that point just doesn't work for me. You know, because my mind is already going. I got 100 things already going. So to try to quiet all that down and focus on one thing can be very difficult for me to sit down in a quiet space and do that. So I go for a walk. You know, just get out, go for a walk, be around nature, start looking at things, start focusing my attention rather than what's going on in my mind, focusing on what's right in front of me. And that is a very key element that you can get into right here and right now, especially during this whole craziness of the world that we're in. Because people are watching TV and they're reading magazines and they're listening to other people talk and they're worried about things that are going on in other parts of the world. But yet, and possibly maybe even in your own environment or around the neighborhood. But if you just stop and look at what is actually going on right within your circle, look out the window. You know, are people dropping dead? Is there volcano ash coming down, which there was from here, you know, last weekend? Or, you know, or what's actually really happening here and now in your world? And see, this is where people often get lost. Because they're so worried about the future and they're so upset about the past that they're creating issues in their now. But when they just actually stop and look around, well, there's nothing happening in the here and now. There's no chaos. There's no frustration. There's no stress. It's just all going on in your head. And I like to use the example of what happens right now. You know, imagine you're stressed to the max right now and it's the worst, and you got 100 things going on in your mind, and you're upset, and you're frustrated, and you're mad, and you're confused, you don't know what to do, and which direction to go, and all you do is blah, 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 all this stuff going on in your mind. All of a sudden the phone rings. It's one of your best friends, somebody you haven't spoken to for maybe a couple of years. Well, what happens? A couple of minutes, you're having fun, you're laughing, you're chatting. Well, what's changed? Not your environment, because you haven't moved anywhere. Nothing going on around you. Nothing's changed. It's all the way it was 2 or 3 minutes ago. Your mind has changed. Your focus has changed. You're now speaking with somebody about something else. And everything is wonderful and terrific. Unless you choose to dive into how horrible life is, and then you can just talk about it. And now it's not just you sharing in that all that negativity. Now you're sharing it with your friends. So great. So now everybody's depressed and frustrated. Or you can choose not to do that. You can choose to talk about things that inspire and encourage and support you to get out of where you are to where you want to be.
Yes, I would agree with you. I think also, you know, doing creativity in your life is really important. Creating something. And that could be, people would say to me, I don't have time to paint, I don't have time to do this. But actually, you know, sorting a drawer out can be really creative. Yes. And it can actually make you feel really good that if all else fails and you're in total chaos and out of control of everything in your life, if your drawer is tidy, or you've cleaned the kitchen floor, or you've made your house feel lovely, or you've arranged fresh flowers, you've done something that, you know, you are in control of. You know, and as you say, getting out in nature, going playing, having a game of golf, getting on your bike and riding a bike, all of those things can really, really help you to change that state really quickly. Because if you keep building up that cortisol in your blood, then that in turn has such massive and dramatic effects in your body. It changes the hormones in all of your body.
And affects every aspect of your life. Everybody around you, everybody you want to be supporting or encouraging or being with, you know, that energy just brings everybody down.
I am a firm believer, though, of going into an open space where nobody can hear you and screaming really loudly, because I actually think it's really good for you.
Do you have anything specific that you like to scream?
It just depends on what's caused the problem in the first place, really. But I think it's actually really healthy to get it out. And I remember when I was doing some voice coaching about 5 years ago, that, you know, actually learning to scream from your belly and to breathe from your whole diaphragm and actually getting it out rather than suppressing it, which again is not healthy for you, you know, and that can have repercussions. You know, when people are internalizing stuff, it's going to come out wherever your Achilles heel is in your body. So, you know, for some people it will come through their skin, and so they'll get eczema, dermatitis, they'll get psoriasis. For other people it will come out in their diaphragm, and so, you know, you might find that you're short of breath, that you find you have panic attacks.
Absolutely.
You know, you're really struggling with getting your breath. Other people, it will come out in your joints, and you'll find, like you said, headaches, aches and stiffness and pain. And for other people, you know, they eat.
Yep.
You know, people stress eat or they stop eating.
Yep.
You know, which way are you? Are you somebody that when you're really stressed you can't eat, or are you somebody that when you're very stressed that you just munch through everything that's in the fridge? So, you know, we're all very different.
Yep.
And what is somebody else's, you know, I can just wave that away and it doesn't bother me. For somebody else, that can be really, really stressful.
Yes, yeah, and I agree. And a lot of people say that, well, they're stressed because they're dealing with being overweight or dealing with body aches and pains and dealing with whatever. So they do these things so that it helps them to support them in whatever they need to be supported in at the time. But the reality is, if you take a step back from that and see that you have these issues and problems because of the stress and because of the choices that you're making, will help you to make wiser choices. We're not saying that the issues aren't real, because they are absolutely real. Heart palpitations, hard to breathe, weight issues, chronic issues, aches, pains, ailment, disease, headaches, all these different things come from these things. But the reality is they also the fix for them. If you become aware of the choices that you're making, and when you get stressed, instead of reaching for the chocolate bar, you go for a walk, well, all of a sudden now you're not putting the sugar in you, and the sugar is what's creating the inflammation or creating the extra weight or creating the extra stress, because now you think, oh crap, I just ate chocolate or I just ate sugar and now I'm getting bigger, and you know, and so that's a negative downward spiral that's supporting keeping you in that negative situation. But if you put the chocolate bar down or don't buy it in the first place, yeah, then you go for a walk or you do something else more productive, like you said, do some flower arranging or go do some gardening or go support your neighbor, yeah, play golf or go help a neighbor or something. And you just change that to sitting and eating and being depressed to getting up and doing something, to changing the environment, which changes your mind. Well, all of a sudden now you're on a positive trajectory, which is going to take you towards the goals that you want.
I know we're both very keen on essential oils.
Absolutely.
You know, essential oils, because it's, you know, your olfactory system, it's one of your senses, and the sensory element of when you are very stressed can play a massive part. You know, if there's a lot of noise, that can be really stressful.
Definitely.
And if you have beautiful smells around you, that can really support your well-being as well. And what essential oils do you love when you're very stressed? What are your favourites?
Oh boy, pine is probably my favorite, because it reminds me of Canada. It reminds me of the trees and the mountains and the streams, and you know, it's just such a beautiful, powerful smell. Lilac is another one of my favorites. Lavender, of course. Yeah, there's quite a few, but pine, I guess, would probably be my top for when I'm stressed.
You see, and that's very different from mine.
Sure.
So it's things like jasmine, I find really, really relaxing. Rose, so all of those kind of floral notes are really good. Ylang ylang, they can be really good. So having a nice hot bath or having a diffuser.
Having a shower.
Having a shower.
With somebody. That can help or eliminate stress.
Scrubbing each other.
Yeah, if you've not been scrubbed by somebody in a shower lately, I suggest you try it. Yes, scrubbing someone else and having someone scrub you is an awesome way to eliminate stress. And I'm talking, you put on the little scrubby gloves and you lather up really well and scrub. Can turn into other things, but just keeping it clean and keeping it scrubbing, it's amazing how better you will feel mentally and physically after a good shower scrub.
Washing away the stress.
Washing away the stress.
Definitely the way forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you know, please do connect with us on Rijooviness.com. We have lots of things in our emporium that we recommend that you can do, and recipes to help and support your health and well-being. Reg's book, which is Be Be You is an amazing book to give you and share with you the way in which you can really turn your well-being into ultimate well-being, and
Absolutely.
really be the best version of you. Because I think a lot of people, and we hear this every day, feel compromised because they're having to do things that they see no sense or rhyme in doing, and
but they're doing it anyways.
Yeah.
And then they're frustrated that they're doing it.
Yeah. And they're having to adjust their lifestyle, which is not suiting people. I think also people are not going on vacation and looking forward to things, and that's causing a lot of people to feel really stressful at the moment.
Exactly.
So,
Yes.
you know, staycations seem to be the way forward at the moment, and everybody's staying in the country of their residence, and it's actually, you know, planning things, having something to look forward
Purpose.
to.
Comes back to purpose.
It does, yeah.
Know your purpose, and you're a multi-dimensional person. You know, you're a father or a mother, you're an aunt or an uncle, you're a son or a daughter, you're a mother or a father. You know, all these different personality types that you are, whether you're friends or you're whatever. All of these different personalities that it makes up you all have these different perceptions that you can focus on. You know, and when you focus on different things, when you think about your work, it's different than when you think about your children or your friends or your parents, right? So be aware of that focus, and you know, be kind to yourself. Don't stress yourself out and put all kinds of pressure on yourself to force yourself to do something that you hate doing because you think that's the way you're supposed to do it. You know?
I think the power is knowing when to let go.
When to let go.
And I think that's really a great thing to do maybe over the weekend is to just write down what is no longer serving you. And sometimes things that we have been doing for a really long time are not things that we should be doing anymore. We change. Every day as people we change, you know, a million times, a million states. But allowing ourselves to go through change and transition and utilize our knowledge and to be not fearful of creating that change is really, really powerful. It's
Absolutely.
really, you know, and I know so many people that have been testament to that when they're in a situation where they let go of the fear. And by letting go of the fear, you give yourself permission to move forward.
Yep. It's amazing you talk about that, and I was just thinking about my client here, who actually, for 30 years, you can see her right in the middle there, Irene, for 30 years of her life, she had been dealing with fear and medication and issues and problems. And in 4 months, we completely turned her life around. And that's not because I'm magic and blowing all kinds of smoke up people's bums or doing anything magical. It's common sense. A shift of perception, a shift of your purpose. Where are you investing your time? What are you focused on? What are you doing? And so many people who are dealing with issues, whether it's dealing with addiction or dealing with weight or dealing with a health problem, that's all they think about. They talk about it, they think about it, they share it with all their friends, and every time you have a conversation, it comes into the conversation somehow. Well, if you're focused on those negativities in your life, that's where you're putting your energy, and you're just going to keep getting it. And with Irene and many of the other hundreds and thousands of clients that we've worked with around the world over the last 30 years, when you change a perception, things can change like that. Life can change like that. Effects in your body. Like Irene, in 4 months, she completely changed every single aspect of her life just by a change of perception and a change of choices that she was making. And you can do that too. That's what Rijooviness is all about. That's why we're here. We've written the book, Be You, which I highly recommend that you get that. It's not a program that you have to fit into. It is designed to help you to be aware of the choices that you're making in many, many different aspects of your life, so you can create the perfect program for you, or not even program, the perfect lifestyle for yourself. Very simple, it's very easy, and it's common sense. It's not woo-woo, hokey-pokey stuff. It's just be more aware of these things and how it makes sense for you.
And I think, you know, a lot of people, when you actually become aware, you are actually repeating the same things that are causing you to be very stressed or not feel balanced in your own life. So, you know, it might be for me, I remember constantly saying about the weather, you know, obsessed by the weather when I was living in the UK because that weather does not suit me. and we have a choice. We can live in the weather and get wet, or we can move somewhere else where it's a lot warmer and a lot sunnier.
Or choose to enjoy the wet.
Or choose to enjoy it. But it's about that awareness and either embracing it and going, okay, this is how it is, and living with it, suck it up and deal with it, or you can choose to change it. And you can change your habits, you can change your environment, you can change what is no longer serving you in a very short space of time. Some things are instant. You can change state immediately by, doing some of the disciplines that we've just gone through, whether that's screaming, writing about it, jumping in the shower,
exercising, going for a walk,
inhaling some essential oils,
getting scrubbed in the shower.
Making something that's creative, whether that's an amazing healthy dish that you're going to feed everyone around you with, or if it literally is, it can be instant. You can really change.
Instant, you literally can. Like I said, then using the telephone call as an example, or just getting up and walking out the door. All of a sudden things are changed.
I think a lot of people at the moment are living their life on social media, and I think that's very stressful as well. And a lot of people reach out to us and say, I'm just not sleeping, I'm finding myself on my phone until 1-2 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm having fit, restless sleeps. And I'm just not getting that deep rest that's restorative and regenerative. And again, getting into that habit where you're turning off all electrical devices, that you are off your phone from after dinner, it allows you to wind down so that you can start really having conversations with people that you're sitting next to.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's commonplace now to sit and watch people in an environment where everyone is in the same room, in the same space, next to each other, and everyone is on their phone.
Yeah.
I mean, that in itself is not healthy, it's very stressful. And, the amount of energy and toxic response that our body's having to deal with physically is shocking. If we could see those, energy waves, those microwaves, those, radio waves and all that G3, 2, 4 and 5 that is going through our body, that's so stressful for our bodies. And, that in itself is going to change your state, because if you're reading things, watching things, doing things that are actually getting you into a strange and weird vibration, then over time that's going to cause disease and distress in your mind and your body. So it's things that we are possibly doing that we're not aware that we're doing as a routine, as a habit. This is just the way we do it. I was coaching a couple last week, and they literally every night sat next to each other on the sofa on their phones until one of them fell asleep and the other one would get up and go into bed and leave the other person asleep on the sofa. How can that be healthy, having a relationship like that?
Well, that's not a relationship. The relationship at that point is over.
Yeah. So, but it wasn't. Because of coaching, they realised that actually it was a habit, and it was something that they hadn't realised that they were doing.
Yeah.
What is it, as Reg said, are you doing that's just a habit that is not, you don't even like it? I mean, and that's often the case as well. You're doing stuff that you don't really like doing, but you're doing it anyway.
Or it just doesn't match with you. You know it's wrong for you, or you don't enjoy doing it, or you know it's not taking you towards the goal that you want, but yet you're spending your time and your energy doing it.
And so many people are working in a place or with a job that they don't actually enjoy doing. If they've lost their passion for what they're doing, that's really unhealthy too. And again, a lot of people say, well, I have to do that. I have no choice. But once you start becoming aware that you do have a choice, suddenly things open up. I always say there has to be cracks to let the light in. And the minute you realise there's cracks in anything that you're doing, you are then drawing the light into that awareness, and it allows you to really shine the torch and say, yeah, actually I do need to do something about this. Now it could take days, weeks, months, it could even take a year to make that transformative change that you need. But by that awareness, changing your state over time, you become conscious to make those changes that in the long term will change you as a person and allow you to grow and to shine And how many people in the last year have become entrepreneurs?
Exactly.
So many people are shining, you know, so many people have gone, I'm done. I'm actually now going to do what my passion is because I've got time to do it. I've been at home, I've got that commuter time back, and I'm going to invest that in myself, in learning the skills I needed to launch my own business, to have my own company, to design something that I felt was missing in the environment that I haven't had chance to really work on. So I think there's been lots of positive changes in the last year.
And also along with that, we see a lot of people who are choosing to now look after themselves.
Much better.
They're almost forced into that situation. They can't go to work and they can't go partying and they can't do the things that they love doing. And all that they're left with is themselves. Well, what an awesome thing to start spending some time and energy on. You know, and that comes back to what you're saying, living in that love energy. Give that love to yourself. Do those exercises. Do those lessons and learning. Educate yourself. Do something to help you become a better person within yourself. Not what anybody else says. You don't care about other people's opinions of you. But you do, and you should, care about your opinion of yourself. And when you start investing your time and your energy into yourself, everything changes.
So we hope today that we have served you and supported you, and at the very least make you think about the choices that you're making. And we would welcome you to share the Rijooviness TV with other people. We'll be back next Friday. We are super busy at the moment, coaching people and working with various different companies and corporations. So we are going to be back with you next Friday at 1 o'clock EST time. We have an amazing lady who's going to be joining us, Amanda Cross, and she's written several books on health and wellness. She's been through an incredible personal journey herself, and her new book is going to be launched shortly. So join us next week on Friday afternoon, Friday evening, wherever you are, and we wish you an incredible, healthy, supportive and amazing weekend.
Yes, and remember, join up with us on Rijooviness.com and also in the social media pages. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we've got this YouTube channel as well. But if you go to Rijooviness.com, we are giving you away just a little booklet there, and we've got all kinds of free tips and information and booklets and courses and things that can help to support you. So if you're dealing with things and you'd like to bring others around the world,
very old.
And we'd love to support you and help you. So thank you again for your time, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.